The SE4100 is a large diaphragm true condenser microphone, and yes, it is a sibling to the SE4400, but unlike the 4400, the SE4100 is cardioid only. This isn't some cheaper little sibling to the 4400 though. This actually has the same handcrafted 1-inch gold sputtered brass capsule. One thing to note about the SE4100 is it does come in at $349, while the SE4400, the multi-pattern microphone, does come in at $499. And much like the SE4400, you will have some controls on the SE4100, and those include a negative 10 decibel pad, a negative 20 decibel pad, as well as a low cut filter at 80 Hz and 160 Hz. And for vocals and spoken word, that 80 Hz high-pass filter could come in handy. But one of the things that's absolutely incredible about this microphone is how thin it is. I mean, this thing is on Ozempic. Am I right? Am I right? Yeah. No, but seriously, it is my flat bastard. Okay, that was the last one, I promise. But I am seriously serious about this. It is only 1.1 inches thick. And I mean, the shock mount isn't much thicker, so it could be really good for close miking situations. But actually, they do sell the SE4100 and 4400 in the matched pair. And if you do decide to get the matched pair, it will come with a stereo mounting bar. But speaking of what comes with it, you will get this very nice custom shock mount, as well as a microphone stand thread adapter, 3/8 to 5/8 inch, of course. Additionally, it does come with a storage/travel case that is all metal. And of course, you'll get some documentation, a sticker, and the microphone itself. But to touch on the build quality of the microphone, the metal case, the shock mount, it's shit. The shit. It's the shit. That's what I meant to say, my bad. The custom shock mount is fantastic. The build of the microphone itself, all metal. And of course, if you've watched this channel, I'm a sucker for metal cases. I am. Now, when it comes to this microphone, I will discuss a couple noteworthy specs, but I will leave the specs up on the screen if you want to pause it and read through them. But as I'm sure a lot, if not all of you know, that this does require phantom power 48 volts. This does have a frequency range of 20 Hz to 20 kilohertz, and it also has an equivalent noise level of 9 dBA. Now that we've gotten a lot of the information out of the way, we're going to go ahead and do some tests on this microphone. And just so you know, this whole first section that I've been using a pop filter, I've been using the Hotline P110. And I will occasionally put it into the testing section just because I feel like you should have some sort of protection when you're using this microphone, of course, and most condenser microphones. And now I'm exactly 3 feet away from the SE4100. Here's how that sounds. And now I'm going to get a little bit closer, about 2 feet away from the microphone. And now I'm about 8 foot away. And now I'm about 6 inches away. And now I am right on top of the microphone, if you want to get some of that yummy yum yum proximity effect. Now I will do some plosives about 12 inches away and 6 inches away from the microphone. Planters pickled peanutses. Planters pickled peanutses. Planters pickled peanutses. Planters pickled peanutses. And now I'm 6 inches away from the microphone, aiming my air past it. Planters pickled peanutses. Planters pickled peanutses. Now just a quick rejection test using some MX Cherry Blues. Here's how that's going to sound. Now currently I am at 0 degrees, and we're going to go off axis to 90 degrees. And now 90 degrees to 180 degrees. Now 180 to the other 90. And now we are going back to 0. There we go. Now let's test the switches on this microphone. And just so you know, they are pretty loud when you enable them. Just fair warning. So negative 10 decibels. And there is negative 10 decibels. Now negative 20. Now negative 20 decibels. And now for the first high-pass filter, the one on the left. And it is enabled. Check, check. Plosive test, plosive test. And now back at 0. And now we're going to go to the second high-pass filter. And now it is enabled. I think that the first one is less intense than the second one, so I would assume it's the one on the left is 80 Hz, and the second one on the right is 160 Hz. So if you wanted to be really close to this microphone, make sweet, sweet love into it while you're popping peas into it. That sounds disgusting. But now we have the 160 Hz low cut filter enabled. Now it's time to get this guy involved. Let's do a kitty purr test. So now I'm in a completely untreated room, and here's how the SE4100 sounds in a situation like that. And like most untreated room tests, I'm kind of doing a dual test with the iPhone right now. And I am recording it into the iRig recorder app, and I am using a little Donner interface thing. But like any microphone, if I'm close to it, the focus is primarily on my voice, but if I take a step back, you're going to hear a lot more of that room the further away I get from this microphone. So if you are going to be in an untreated room, I would recommend being close to the mic. So now it's time to get into the comparison section of this video. Currently I have the SE4100 going against a microphone that is the exact same price. As weird as it sounds, it does have technology in the microphone. This is the Lewitt Ray, and it's essentially autofocus for your voice. So saying that the Lewitt Ray, or calling it the Mr. Ray Lewitt as I like to, goes for the same price as the SE4100, you've got to think like, hey, the SE4100 has to be pretty special, and I'm going to be upfront, it does sound good. I'm very curious about the comparison of all of these microphones against the SE4100. But before you make up your mind about one of these microphones, just know that they are trying to achieve something very different. But you've been listening to this comparison on the Scarlett 2i2 4th generation, both microphones at a max hitting -12 decibels. Now I have the Lauten Audio LA220 version 2 going up against the SE4100. And just so you know, in this comparison, if it looks like I am closer to one, it could just be the angle of the camera, because every single time I am measuring before I start, in the middle, between takes, I'm measuring constantly. But with the LA220, I was really curious how it would sound against the SE4100, especially since the LA220 does have the low pass filter and high pass filter. And with that being said, I just put the low cut filter on both of these. The SE4100 is on the 80 Hz, and now it's on 160 Hz versus the only one that the LA220 has. Now we are in flat mode on both of the microphones, so now you are hearing the LA220's low pass filter versus the completely flat mode of the SE4100. So now we're taking a pretty big step back when it comes to price. The $159 Røde Signature Series NT1 and the SE4100. I mean, the NT1 Signature Series is $190 less than the SE4100. I mean, that's pretty crazy to think about. And with this, you do get everything. You get the windscreen, you get the shock mount. You don't get the hard case like you would with the SE4100, but I did just want to show a less expensive microphone in this comparison against the SE4100 just to see how it compares. So now I have the Audio-Technica AT4040 going against the SE4100, and the AT4040 is currently $299, whereas you know the price, but in case you forgot, it is the SE4100 at $349. Not too long ago, I did a review for the AT4040, and I really did like it. Now, I could be wrong about this, but in my mind, the AT4040 sounds somewhat similar to the SE4100, so I am curious to hear this Once again, I could be wrong, but I did just enable the high-pass filter on both of these microphones. On the SE4100, I just did the 80 Hz, and on the Audio-Technica, I just did the one that it has. But now I have the 160 Hz low cut on the SE4100 versus the Audio-Technica, whatever it has. Now we're in flat mode on both of the microphones, and I will say the AT4040, where these switches are, is a little bit of a pain, but it is nice that you can't bump them, even though you couldn't bump them. But regardless, let's move on. So now I have the Rockwell Mini K87 going up against the SE4100. Now this is the last microphone in this comparison, and it's the one that is the most expensive. On Rockwell's website right now, it is currently $439. Now the Mini K87 doesn't have any switches whatsoever, unlike the SE4100. It's just what you see is what you get, what you hear is what you get, unless you EQ it. But Rockwell is known for having fantastic internals and having the external be somewhat bleh. So given that, the Rockwell should sound better than the SE4100, because SE kind of is the whole package. They got the cool thin profile, the look is awesome, the switches, and the sound is, well, I'll save that for later. But here is a real quick comparison between the Mini K87 and the SE4100. Now let's get into my review section. Now when it comes to how I feel about the SE4100, I'm just going to be blunt. I really love it. I really do. There's something about it. The sound is just fantastic. The metal case is great. And yeah, it doesn't come with like an insane amount of things, but for $350, it comes with an adequate amount of things, and it's fantastic. It has a neutral enough sound that you could record anything you want, EQ it to your heart's desire, and be good to go. And the high end on this microphone is just nice. It's not too much. The low end is just borderline perfect. It's fabulous. Ugh, I would really love to hate on something about it, just to hate on something to show that this is an authentic review, but I promise I'm being serious. I really do love this thing. If I am going to be nitpicky, something I did say earlier in the video is it would be nice if the SE4400 and the SE4100 kind of made a baby and the high-pass filters were somewhere in between what this has and what the SE4400 has. But once again, I'm being nitpicky here. Everything I put this in front of, it just captured it, made it sound a little bit larger than life, but it didn't alter it too much. I should just move on to the grading section at this point. You know, this is probably pretty predictable, but I give this a 3 out of 10. Okay, I'm joking. I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10. I personally just love how this sounds and how it does give you options for EQ, and it's not hard to EQ. But let me know down in the comments what you thought of it. I want to give a thank you to SE for sending me this microphone to try out. Another big thank you goes to all the subscribers, and the biggest thank you to all of the Audio Hotline members. I'll see you audio nerds next time.